Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter Northern Arizona style. I'm your host, Danny Neal. And of course, as always, I got my friend, our stand-in guy, the man that knows all the stats, knows everything about basketball, football, well, just sports, Northern Arizona style. And that's my guy, Mr. Russell Woods. Good morning, Mr. Flagcoco. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, coach. They're working me pretty hard at the post office, and I got a wife and kid that are staying home with whatever creeping crud's going around town. But I'm taking my vitamin C, I'm drinking my water, and I'm saying my prayers.
Well, that's all right, man. Hey, our best wishes to your family there, and hopefully everybody gets better. We know that stuff is going around, and but glad that you're just here this morning, standing in for our guy Tyrone Johnson. He's probably out somewhere on the golf course, trying to get his Tiger hood on, as he calls it. But he'll be back next week. But as always, we're just happy to have you here, man, and
Thank you.
what's going on, man? What's happening in high school sports?
Well, we had the cross country state championships last week, and as usual, Flank High won at least one state title. The girls won it this year, and then props to Mia Hall for winning her third consecutive uh, individual championship, which makes the Hall sisters have won five in a row now.
Wow, wow.
And I know that there's at least one more girl coming through the pike and is going to come through. So we're five and running. Uh, Flag High boys finished second. The Coconino girls in their first foray through Division Two, they didn't do so bad. They finished seventh.
That's all right.
Wow, did I see it the other day? I know community college CCC.
Mm-hmm.
I know they started their athletic program with cross country, and they did really well. Isn't that what I saw in the Daily Sun?
I don't know. I have not seen anything in the Daily Sun, but I've been, you know, been pretty mobile. But
Well,
I know that they were starting that cross country. Doug Allen's been very instrumental
well,
in getting that done.
they were in. I don't know if it was on the national championship or it was a national one. They did really well, and the name that I saw that stuck in my head was Big Gambler, which tells me that they're recruiting locally, and that's
Right,
exactly what I want to see from CCC and NAU and
right. I mean, when you were winning as many state championships as Flag High is winning, when you got runners from Coconino competing up there with the top in the state, and also MPA and bases
yeah.
are also doing really well. Um, you just got to tip your hat to them, and just know
There's
that there's some runners here somewhere, and some people are looking at them, and no reason why they should have to leave the city.
exactly. I mean, everybody's doing well. NAU is a national powerhouse.
Exactly.
Was it NA Northern Arizona Elite has some of
Mhm.
the best runners in the world running. So I'm glad to see it's not just NAU or not just Black Eye, but everybody is successful in
Right.
Flagstaff doing this.
Just in my neighborhood out in Cheshire, there's probably 4 or 5 runners just on the street here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to one lady who's uh, a lawyer here, and she was telling me that when she moved here, she ran college, and when she moved here, she thought she was going to be the cat's meow, as she put it, and got here and couldn't
But
compete.
she's the middle of the pack here, huh?
And she told me that in the last Olympics, just in the people that live here in Flagstaff, there
Mm,
was like 29 medals won,
yeah.
and there was more medals won just in people that live here in Flagstaff than some countries.
I wouldn't doubt. I mean, you hear about some of those African countries that are always winning marathons and always in the Olympics, but no, as far as one town in the entire world, you can put your finger right on our 7,000-foot hometown.
Right, right. And 7,000 feet is real. Some people don't believe it till they have to come up here and let Coconino D them up with, like we're going to talk about later,
Mhm.
or Flag High getting D'ing them up. I've literally seen players just walk off the court. Forget it. I'm not doing this. So
Yeah,
it's real.
and they're grabbing their ankles, they're grabbing their
Right.
knees, they're huffing.
Right.
Yeah.
So next time you're up, Russell, me and you gonna go for a mile run.
Well, that mile run might take us about 25 minutes, but we'll
No,
give it
I
a
was talking
try.
about we're gonna do like a lap, then we'll go home, come back the next day, do a lap.
There
Like
we
that.
go.
So, hey man, let's move right along here with what we're doing. Of course, want to mention Flag High did go play their first high school game last night. And went to Seton Catholic, which is always great competition. Didn't do bad, lost that game by 12. I believe it was 49-37, I believe it was. But played well, competed really well. We missed, if I don't mention the freshman, the JV got canceled. So I just drove down, with some family that couldn't ride the bus. And the freshman finished won last night 60-2. So it was a lot of players got the opportunity to play. So it was good, and we just want to move on. And I know with our guest, she's going to talk about the talent that's over on the other side of town, and boys and girls. And hopefully we'll get the boys coach on. And I know that MPA was down, I believe, in Williams for a scrimmage during their thing, and I know they've got they had a nice sophomore team group last year that's doing well. So, Russell, I'm gonna turn it over to you, man.
I finally met Coach Schrader last year when they were playing down here, and we had a good conversation. And I've always followed the. I often watch the girls more than I do the boys, especially when they come down here to the valley. And I've admired our guest, and she starts her season November 28th at Greenway. Thank you for coming on the show, Miss Cassie Schrader.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Good morning, Cassie.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
I mentioned Greenway was where your season ended last year.
Yep.
But the one thing I noticed when I was doing research is that their big girl, Kaylee Sowers Miller, has transferred, which kind of opens up everything in 4A. I know you've got a young team, but how do you see them starting off this season?
I mean, being at Greenway, of course, it would work out like that, right? That's how we ended, and that would be how we start, which is fine. Coach Jay Montoya over there does such a good job, and he's such a nice man, and he always has us on his schedule, which I appreciate. I like playing Greenway. I've liked it the past few years. But in terms of how I think we're going to start, I think it'll probably take a little bit for us to find a groove. I'm very young. I have 3 varsity returners, and now I have a 13-woman roster. So 10 of them are new to varsity. And you hear that and you're like, oh wow, it's gonna be a struggle. But I hear that and I'm excited because I feel like I'm noticing already it's like they're a little bit more willing to be molded. Not that I'm trying to change them, but just mold them and have them buy into what I'm teaching. It's almost easier than you might think, or it's felt easier than one might think. So I think it'll take us a little bit to find a groove, to find chemistry, but they're amazing kids. They're very hard workers. They'll pick it up at some point. I just don't know when, but I know they'll pick it up.
Like you're working with a clean slate this year.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of them knowing your system and starting to gel.
Yep. Exactly.
You did have a bit of a preseason scrimmage at Poston Butte. How did that go for you? And I know you know the players from your day. How was it playing against Flag High Savannah Bix?
Well, Savannah and I have been best friends for like almost 20 years. Like she's been my best friend since we were kids. So naturally she invited me. She said, you wanna drive 3 hours for your scrimmage? And why would I say no? It's so enticing. So I did, and it was really good for us. We played against Santan Foothills and Desert Ridge as well. So we played 2 quarters against each of them. Um, the best part of it is that we learned a lot about ourselves, and even the girls did a great job of kind of looking intrinsically and like figuring out what they need to work on. And it was very telling for me and my other coaches and all the girls. So and Savannah has Post and Butte locked in all the time. Like she does such a good job, and they would run through a wall for her. So they're very well coached, they're very athletic. They work really hard. So, and I know that after this year she's losing a lot of seniors, so this is kind of her this is, as she would say, it's her Hail Mary year. That's what she said to me recently. So I mean, I see them doing really well. They definitely, because my girls we're kind of tiny, with all due respect, and they were just athletic. They had a little bit of size on us, and it's good to play against someone like that, so that especially all the girls that are new to varsity, they know what they're about to go up against all year. So it was good. It was very good, very telling.
That's good, and it's funny because first of all, just to see you and Savannah out here coaching is just special for me. Yeah, I watched you guys through the youth basketball league and all that, and now I see you guys out here competing and being so successful. I just want to tell both of you guys congratulations and let you know how proud I am of you guys, and a blessing it is watching you guys come up. But we were at Seton Catholic last night, and they canceled the JV game because there was no team. So they moved the varsity game up to 5:30. About 7 o'clock, Savannah drives up all the way from Boston.
No.
Thinking the game was at 7 o'clock.
Oh no. That's a long drive for her. That's not a short drive
like in Mississippi or somewhere.
Yeah, she maybe even further, like Florida. Like she lives far. That's oh no.
So she got a chance to give all of us a hug. We were talked.
At least she had that.
She was happy with that. So, but I had to just interject that in. So what are some of the key players to look for this year?
So my 3 returners, I definitely have to shout them out first. Lorelei Tesmer is a senior, Aubrey Laughter, and Kaylin Lee, and those 2 are juniors. They have been just coming into the season. They have been very surprisingly stepping into a leadership role. All 3 of them, and it's Lorelei's always kind of been a more vocal one the past few years. Maybe not her freshman year, but sophomore year until now, she's been pretty vocal, pretty comfortable with being vocal. But the other 2, they were kind of hard shells to crack, and I mean, I don't even think I had told them exactly what I expected of them yet before I noticed that they just started, finding their own leadership traits, and they've been way more vocal. And because they know, those 3 are pretty much the only ones that know exactly what I expect. They're used to the system, and they say things that I miss sometimes. Sometimes I don't even have to say anything because they've said everything. They're super helpful. They're hard workers. I'm thankful for them, and they're gonna. This is kind of their time to shine now. They were used to, because I had Winter Husky last year, who was like my go-to, and I think both the juniors they understand that they're now sharing that same responsibility, and they're very determined. They've been working very hard, and I have a lot of incredible kids that came up from JV last year. We had a pretty successful JV team the past couple of years. I have 3 sophomores on varsity this year. Yaya Cardenas, Jasmine Ben, and Avi Scharfenberger. They're all they're just hoopers. Like they just love to play. They love to play, and they love to learn. And them actually, when I was making teams, I was making cuts. I told them that they made varsity, and 2 of them cried. Like they were so happy. And I don't, they must have not expected to make it. So, but they were, they work super hard. They're great kids.
Mm.
Even they show their own leadership traits too. They get comfortable, make
Right.
sure that no one thinks they can't be a leader just because they're a junior or a sophomore. So I think that they'll step into that role pretty nicely too.
That's good. That's good.
Now, we were talking before the show about how long you've known Coach Neal. I've only known you for about 12 months. And so I don't quite know your life story as well as he does. I would like to know how you went from playing basketball to now coaching the Lady Panthers. How's that journey from being a player to a coach?
So my dad he's been a basketball official most of my life, or probably 90% of my life. So he's the one that, kind of introduced me to it. I was going to any basketball camps at age 4 or 5. It wasn't that I was forced, but he was always just like, "You're gonna go," and I'd be like, "Okay, I guess." Like, it was very scary for me because I was always the smallest one because I started so young. And then I took a little break from it, and then I started playing again in like 4th, 5th grade. Played City League, which is obviously how I know Coach Neal. And then I went to NPA for middle school and high school. I was on varsity all 4 years at NPA. And my coach Joe Donaldson is probably my biggest inspiration for coaching. He changed my life and a lot of my friends' lives all throughout high school. And he's a school psychologist, and he's actually the reason why I went to school for psychology too. And I knew I wanted to be a basketball coach because of him. Because for some reason after high school, I wasn't super interested in playing at the next level. I knew I wanted to be involved. So as soon as I graduated from NPA, they let me on actually over at Coconino as a JV assistant. It was when Greta Hanneman and Jen Parker were coaching. They took over, and I withdrew from school because it was kind of a culture shock, and Greta told me that I could only help coach if I got back to school. So I re-enrolled at CCC, and she let me have that volunteer position, and I've literally been at Coconino ever since, and I've been learning from a lot of different people. So
they're definitely better for it. I know they're happy to have you there. How do you feel about the shot clock? How is that going to affect your team, or will it affect your team?
I love it. I love the shot clock, and I don't think it's going to negatively affect my team. The mindset obviously has to be a little bit different, and that's something that we have to change along the way. But I like it more because I just can't. The amount of teams I've played where it's the second quarter, like 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and they're up by 8 or something, and they just want to sit up there and hold the ball,
right?
No matter how close the defense is, and it's just kind of like it just speeds up the game, and you avoid things like that. Teams that want to sit back in a zone and don't want to pick up the ball early, they're kind of forced to maybe pick up a little bit earlier, and the offense is forced to make a decision a lot quicker, which I love that. And I like the fact that it could make it like a 2-possession game at the end, 2-possession game, 3-possession game, whatever, if it's close. It makes it a little more exciting, and it also kind of, like, when you think about going to the next level, like the kids that want to go to the next level, they obviously have to get used to the shot clock. So I think it's important, and I love that we've implemented it.
Right. And as a coach, you have to change your way of thinking a little bit with the shot clock, like you say, as can you get 2 possessions before the quarter because of the shot clock now, and things like that. And I can say, just in the game last night, when it gets close to the end of the shot clock, Coach Johnson has the bench start counting, 10, 9, 8. That only happened twice last night. And I don't think Seton Catholic at all. So, and coming from Flagstaff, we get up and down the floor anyway.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So it's not going to affect us, but again, I think it's going to be an advantage to us because it's going to make people have to pick up their game speed.
Yep, that's right.
And at 7,000 feet, that's a problem. But just talking to some officials, and I'll give it back to you, Russell. there was a couple rules that the first one that they're really strictly on is that handshake. Not allowing you to put any hand on them right now. And I've seen where they're really enforcing that. The other is the arm bar on the post. No longer can do that out here. So it seems like the advantage goes to the offense. How do you feel about that?
When I first got the varsity job, I was doing a lot of like head on the ball drill, so on ball defense, stuff like that. And I was trying to teach that it's okay, like don't be afraid to make that contact. But and that's I teach it a little bit different now just because of like the change of the rules and stuff like that. But I was very, very pro like make contact as they're trying to break the plane, as the dribbler's trying to break the plane. So often, and then we got fouls called on it so often, which I hate that because I don't want to be that person, but I think boys basketball is officiated differently. I think they let them be a lot more physical, especially with the on-ball defense, which is why I hope like that hand check emphasis is kind of thrown on, both the boys and the girls some more, because I've always felt like there was a little bit of a disparity, and I really like I like a lot of contact pressure defense. So at this point, I just tell the girls like, you can test the officials and see what they're going to call, but then after that, you got to make the adjustment.
Right.
So
and girls basketball is more physical than boys basketball. So.
Yeah, I definitely think, and I think that I don't think we get rewarded with the whistle not being blown. Like I feel like we get the girls basketball gets the whistle blown a lot more with the physicality of the game, unfortunately. But that's just me. I could
Me too.
Okay, good. Good. I don't want to be that person, but I think I'm pretty observant. I'm observant of that kind of stuff. So yeah.
You're talking about growing up with Danny Neal and Tyrone Johnson. You mentioned Coach Greta and Jennifer Parker. What are some of the things that you learned from them, just in observing the way they coach, and how have you been able to incorporate that into what you do?
Gosh, I've had like all of those people that you listed are just some like the best people to learn from and observe. I've been so lucky, and I also want to throw in there Martin Reyes, because he was here before me. And he taught me a lot too. Just everybody that you listed, like those are some of the best in the state. Like genuinely, like, and I mean that. And I didn't even know that getting this job was possible for me until Martin Reyes was like, I think you'd be really good for it. And it just kind of like everything just clicked, like all of like, like Coach Johnson, Coach Neal, like I had flashbacks when I was a kid of them, being super loud and intense. And I love that. And I'm kind of the same way now. And I know that I get, especially from like Coach Neal and Coach Johnson, like I know that they got pretty booming voices, and I love that. And Tyrone coached me when I was in 7th grade, and I was very shy. And he drafted me on his NJV team, and he told me that he was like, you're a shooter, you can shoot the ball, so I want you on my team. And I'll never forget him saying that to me when I had like no confidence as a 7th grader. Like, I could hoop a little bit. I love the game, but I was very not confident. And him saying that was like a game changer for me. And I was on such a good team that year that I didn't touch the ball a lot. Like I was on with Illy, Coach Johnson's daughter, and she was just smoking past everybody all the time. And I was just happy to be there and like even learn from her too. But Greta and Coach Parker were instrumental in just getting me into, the high school scene and coaching and stuff like that. And, making me go back to school ASAP. Not that I wasn't going to go back, but, them using the coaching is like, they just kind of dangled it in front of me. I said, perfect. And I finished school, obviously. And I stayed at Coconino while I finished school. And, they let me be a really big part of the program, from the jump. And then, Martin Reyes, I really have not changed his system very much, because he's, all of that is like in the forefront of my mind when I got the job, and it worked very well for him. And I'm just going to use it until it doesn't work, because I love it and I know it well. And when the day comes that I have to change it, that's okay. I'm okay with that. And just coming to like growing up in town and being able to be like the varsity head coach at one of the big schools in town is just like, I would have never thought as a kid. Like to be honest with you, when I was in middle school, I was like, I'm gonna go to Flag High and play for Tyrone. That's what I wanted to do that so bad. And then I changed my mind because all my friends stayed at NPA and I got scared. So so it was a great spot for me, but in my head, for years I wanted to play, I wanted to play at Flag High. My dad went to Flag High and I was like, cool, I'm gonna follow my dad's footsteps, play for Tyrone. And then last second changed my mind. So here we are.
Well, it worked for you. It obviously worked for you. And so appreciate the thought for Coach Johnson. And a lot of people want to play for that guy. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
But now you also are here now. And I think that's the nice part about it is you and Coach talk all the time. And I know you do.
Oh, yeah.
I know once we get in that gym, you try to beat each other down.
For sure, for sure.
And I think Coach would let you know about yourself if you did anything different.
Oh, absolutely.
He would honestly tell you about you if he thought you wasn't giving your best effort. But I just think that's really good just for the city, just for the community. The way a lot of your girls on your team know a lot of girls on our team, NPA and just within the community. And then to still have that competitive spirit is something back years ago wasn't there. If you went to Coconino, you hated Flag High, and everybody that went there, same with the coaches. But to see the community come together and coaches sharing that love and having each other's backs, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So you've been a part of that. You're adding to that, and
I hope so. I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, last year I gave Tyrone a plaque for becoming the winningest coach. I'm looking forward to seeing you and Cooper Elliott and Nick Walton eventually, working your way up. I have a list of the winningest coaches in city history, boys and girls together. I'm really looking forward to seeing you three on that list in the very near future.
Yeah, I know we all, that kind of thing is just a goal, however it has to come, that is a goal. Because, Tyrone's been doing this for a long time and he's been good at it for a long time and he will continue to be good at it for a long time. So who would not, want to strive to do the same?
Oh,
I definitely do.
He and Coach Neal have built a machine. It's incredible to watch them when everybody's clicking on all cylinders. But we've got more than one team in town.
We do. And they're doing great.
I know I'm the big rivalry guy.
Yeah.
But with a town the size of Flagstaff, you need more than one good team. So I'm glad to see that the Lady Panthers have always been in the playoffs. They still fight hard. It's been a few years since Coconino since the Lady Panthers beat, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I know Coach Neal's kind of thinking, well, whatever. But no. But I'm telling you, the rivalry is so much better when it's competitive. And it doesn't matter if it's football or basketball or wrestling or whatever it is. This town needs both big schools competing, and I'm glad that you continue to compete and you continue to work towards the region title.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, as a kid, I went to almost every Coconino Flag High basketball game. Like when I was like little, my dad would usually be reffing either the boys or girls game, and I would go with him. And I would just run around with my friends. And then, I got older and I started like watching the basketball and like appreciating it very much. So like being part of the rivalry now is just, it's kind of insane to me. Like little me would have never guessed that it was possible, but I love being a part of it. It's so much fun. It's so fun.
And first of all, 3 of the 4 names that you mentioned leading the 4 programs in 2 major schools are all hometown grown. giving something back to
Yep.
their community.
That's right.
So, Coach Cooper, he's coming in, and he's just going to have a great coach, a great coach. So, we're just happy to see that, and just to see that people stayed in town to give back to their community. That's a beautiful thing.
Yep, definitely. I've never left. A lot of people have left and come back, but I've stayed strong. I've stayed here in Flagstaff my whole life. Yep, that's right. That's right.
Well, that's all right. So, and as we get to the end of our show, we always have a segment where we ask for our guests to give a little bit of inspiration to the people out there. We ask our co-host to offer up what we call the golden nugget question of the day for you. And Russell Woods, I know you got something today because you were prepared.
I try to be. I try to do my homework every time. Of course, I'm here because Coach Tyrone, bless him, but he's done every show up until last week and this week, and he was thinking about making this a threesome today. All three of us chatting with you. What's something you want to say to Tyrone going into this season?
First of all, I want to make sure he knows that I appreciate him dealing with me asking for advice a lot the past couple of years. There've been a few times that I've just needed, input from somebody that's been doing this for a long time and somebody that would respond, which he has. So he's been incredibly helpful, incredibly supportive of me. It's not every day, we talk about Savannah Bix too, but it's not every day that like a coach gets to coach against somebody that he coached back in the day. And I mean, he might not know how important it was to me that like when I was in 7th grade, he said that to me, but it weighed heavy on me for a long time and in the best way. So I want to make sure he knows that I appreciate that. And I also just, he's somebody that I obviously look up to, like being in the coaching realm. I mean, even just as a human being, he's a really, really good human being. And he has made such an impact in the community, and I can only seriously strive to do the same. There's not a whole lot of better coaches to really look up to, like with all due respect to every other coach, but like it's Tyrone Johnson, and I respect him, and we coach in the same town now, and we're in the same melting pot of hoopers, and I would love to, accomplish half of what he's accomplished. So, and I just appreciate him, and I appreciate his presence through, this whole process for me, and just as a kid, and always willing to talk to me about basketball growing up, and, let me know what I need to do better. And he's always telling me how proud he was of me even when I went to NPA. And yeah, it's made an impact on me. So now coaching against him twice a year is such a crazy, like, full circle thing. So yeah, I just want him to know how much I appreciate him.
Circle of life.
Hey, that's good stuff, Savannah. I want to wish you good luck. Your team, I just working at the rec center and knowing some of the girls on your team, I know how they feel about you. They appreciate you. They love you. They know you're going in the right way. And so, I just want to wish you good luck. Anytime we're not playing, we're going to be there to support you. We know that when you're not playing, some people, I walk in the gym, and you may get the same thing. Oh, why you here spying? I ain't spying, man. I'm here supporting.
For sure. Yeah, I love that. I do the same.
Right. And you do the same. And so we just wish you guys good luck. And you just know that when we're not playing, we'll be there to support you. And, just wish all you guys the best luck in the world. And
of course.
You do the same for us. So good luck.
Oh,
and
always.
Thank you for being here today.
Always. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, and good luck to you guys, of course. Always.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's going to be a fun season.
I know. I'm excited.
That's right. That's right. So, well, Russell, hey, man, it's been a great show. We kind of, Russell's kind of been in charge of the guests, and man, you've been pulling off some doozies, guy. been pulling out some doozies. So we want to keep you going, but as of right now, man, we know you got to go. You got to take care of the family. You probably got some more honeydews. And me, I'm gonna go in here and get some more coffee. So hey, it's been nice. It's been fun. Hey, wish everybody a good day. You ain't got to go home,
but you can't stay.